Good morning, Melody. I've a favor I need to ask you.
Good morning, Mom. A favor? Okay, if it's something I'm capable of, then I'll be glad to help you out.
Oh, I'm sure it's not going to be too much trouble at all for you. I need you to weed my garden for me today. It absolutely must be done by tomorrow. An old friend of mine is coming by, and I just can't allow her to see the state my garden is in. It would be humiliating.
You want me to weed your garden?
No, that's not right. Pay attention, Melody. I need you to weed my garden today. Not tomorrow, not this weekend, today.
Your garden is about as big as our entire yard, though.
Yes, and? It's time for you to put that youthful energy of yours to use. It shouldn't take you more than a few hours or so to get it all done.
Yeah, I guess if you have you there to help me, it might be done that quickly.
What? You can't be serious, Melody. Are you actually expecting someone my age to go out and weed my garden?
Wait, you're telling me I'm gonna have to do it by myself? Wow. Mom, I don't think a weeding job of that scale is gonna get done in just a few hours. Especially not if I'm working by myself.
Nonsense, you're perfectly capable. Have faith in yourself. In any case, you'll need to get started soon. Get ready and come over to my house immediately.
Okay, well, I suppose I can come by and help. But I should tell you now that I won't be able to stay there for very long. I have something going on in the evening.
And just what sort of something is it? Is this something more important than a request from your own mother-in-law?
One of my coworkers is moving out of state soon, so the company is throwing them a going-away party. There's going to be a nice catered dinner at the office, and I already responded and said that I'd be coming.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. People move all the time. What's so important about this person that they're getting a party to mark the occasion?
Well, they'd been with the company for quite some time, and they were a huge help to me when I first got started there, so I would feel terrible if I didn't go. Plus, I bought a present that I was planning to give them at the party.
Then you can send it by mail. It's a going-away party, Melody, not a funeral. It isn't as though you'll never see them again.
Well, yes, I'm aware of that, but that isn't the point. The point is that they're moving out of state, so it'll probably be a long time before we get the chance to see each other.
Then go ahead and go if you feel so strongly.
Thanks for being so understanding, Mom.
However, you will still have to weed my entire garden by tomorrow morning. I don't want to see one single blade of grass in there. If that means coming back after your silly little party to finish the job, so be it.
But Mom, the party's not going to get out until after dark.
What are you saying, Melody? Do you want me to humiliate myself in front of my friend by having an unkempt garden? Is that what this is?
That's not it at all.
Then quit your complaining and do what I tell you. If it's too dark to work, you can use a flashlight.
I've got a better idea. What if you help me? If we both work together, it should be done by mid-afternoon. That way you'll have a neat and tidy garden. I'll be able to go to the party and we'll both be happy.
For the last time, Melody, pay attention. I cannot help you weed my garden. I am far too old for that kind of manual labor. I'd rather not spend the rest of my days in a wheelchair, thank you very much. That's why I'm telling you to do it. Aren't you forgetting something, Melody? I was always hesitant to allow you to marry my son. You still owe me a debt of gratitude for that, and a simple garden weeding is the least thing you could do to repay me.
Mom, you know I'm grateful for giving us your blessing to get married, but it's just that you're asking me to do this on awfully short notice.
I don't want to hear any more excuses from you. I will ask you one more time. Will you do as I, your mother-in-law, say? This is a yes or no question, Melody. Now answer me.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do what I can in the afternoon, and if there's anything left to do, I'll come back over after the party.
Why couldn't you just say that in the first place? My word, you are one obnoxious little girl, you know that? If you want to improve my opinion of you, you desperately need to improve that attitude of yours. When I say jump, you ask how high. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Mom. Perfectly clear.
What on earth was that son of mine thinking when he married you? There's nothing appealing about you at all. You're as ugly as a horse and as charming as a hornet. You have the personality of an alligator and the work ethic of a sloth. I never should have given my blessing to your marriage. I thought you might improve with time, but you're just as much of a brat as you ever were. Now hurry up and get to work on the garden. You don't want to be up all night weeding, do you? Melody, I need you. Get over here immediately.
Immediately? What's going on, Mom? Is it an emergency?
Yes, it's urgent.
Do I need to call you an ambulance?
What? No, silly little girl. There are 2 light bulbs in my house that have gone out, one in the bedroom and one in the hallway. You need to replace them.
Mom, I thought Marcus talked to you about this the other day. As much as I'd like to give you a hand around the house, we need you to hold off on all these sudden requests for a while.
I don't believe this. So what if you're pregnant? You're only 3 months along. That is no reason for you to shirk off on your duties to me.
I've been feeling sick to my stomach ever since I woke up this morning.
Oh, you poor thing. Stick your finger down your throat or something. Just get it over with. Then you shouldn't have any problem driving to my house at all. I'm going out to dinner with a friend tonight, and you need to get those light bulbs changed out before I return. We gave you a spare key to our house, right? Use that to let yourself in, and be sure to lock up when you leave.
You want me to do it within the next few hours?
No, I command you to do it immediately. The sun will be setting by the time I get home, and I don't want to run the risk of tripping on something in the dark.
I guess that is a reasonable concern, but still. Oh, tell you what, I'll have Marcus do it on his way home from work. Your house isn't too far out of his way, and he should be heading home sometime soon.
How shameless can you be? He does enough work already to support you, and now you want to throw this on him too? Pregnancy isn't a disease. Stop using it as an excuse to shove all of your duties onto my son.
It may not be a disease, but having given birth yourself, you have to know that it does place limits on a woman's body.
Don't try to tell me about pregnancy. Let me tell you a thing or two. Pregnant women should be active. It is neither healthy for the mother nor her child to become a couch potato. Good grief, you would have never made it back in my day. When I was your age, wives were expected to handle all of the cooking and cleaning, whether they were pregnant or not. After all, that's a wife's role in the family. Kids these days, I swear.
Okay, Mom. I'll get in the car and head over once my stomach has settled down.
There you go again. I make a simple request of you, and you start whining, complaining, and making excuse after excuse for why you can't do it, only to agree to do it in the end. I told you before, Melody, when I say jump, you ask how high. When I say come, you say right away, Mother. I have never been disappointed in my son, but the fact that he chose you for a wife brings me pretty darn close. You do nothing but complain about each and every little thing. You spend more time trying to avoid work than you do actually working. And don't think I've forgotten about what you did last month. I told you to weed my garden alone, but what did you do? You had Marcus do it for you anyway.
He didn't do it for me. He just came along to help. I knew that there was no way I'd get it done in a single afternoon by myself.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You are nothing but a parasite to my son, and you're nothing but a pain in the neck to me. I'm sure you know, but Marcus actually got upset at me about asking you to weed my garden. You must be telling him all sorts of nasty lies about me whenever I'm not in the room, aren't you?
No, I'm not, Mom.
Don't lie to me. I saw you for exactly what you are the day I first met you. You put on this elaborate act of being all innocent and harmless, but you're actually like a venomous snake waiting to strike.
I didn't put on any sort of act for Marcus.
How else would you get him to marry you? There is absolutely nothing appealing about you whatsoever, neither your looks nor your personality. A man of my son's stature would never even give you the time of day.
I'm sorry that you're unable to see my good qualities, but Marcus doesn't have that issue.
Issue? Now you're telling me I have issues? I'll bet you think I'm just some dementia-ridden old maid, don't you?
That's not what I meant, Mom.
Yes, it is. Don't lie to me. In any case, you are to come to my house by yourself immediately and change those light bulbs. Don't you dare push this off onto my son. I'll leave a ladder and a box of spare bulbs near the front door. Do be careful not to slip and fall on it. I don't want you damaging my floor.
Understood, Mom.
Oh, and one more thing. Sweep the floors before you leave. They've gotten quite filthy. Melody, I just saw your text from earlier. What's this about my son being taken to the hospital? What on earth happened? Is he all right?
You would like to know, wouldn't you? Seeing as though it's all your fault.
What? My fault? What are you talking about?
Thanks a bunch for going to the trouble of getting that ladder ready for me, although I could have done without you greasing the top few rungs. That was rather unnecessary. And yes, I know you did it because you left the can of motor grease on the floor near the front door.
That is neither here nor there right now. Why did my son get on that ladder? Why was he the one who fell?
He wasn't. I was the one who fell. Marcus was just in the right place at the right time to catch me after I slipped. It did catch him off guard though, which is why after he caught me, we both fell to the ground together. Since I landed on top of him, he was the only one who got hurt. He has a fractured wrist that will need surgery, so he's going to be in the hospital for about a week.
You're not answering my question, you stupid girl. Why was Marcus even there? I was very clear about my instructions, Melody. I told you to come to my house alone. I should have known you would do a thing like this. Even after everything I said, you still ended up roping my son into helping you.
That's not how it happened, actually. I didn't ask him to help me. It was purely coincidental, actually. Right when I was getting in the car to go to your house, Marcus pulled in the driveway. I told him what was going on and he volunteered to go with me.
That doesn't change the fact that you disobeyed me. And because of your disobedience, my dear son is now laid up in the hospital. How could you do such a thing to him? I will never forgive you for this.
That might have been a bit more weight if I had actually done anything wrong here. But I didn't do anything wrong. This is your fault. You greased the top rungs of the stepladder that you set out for me to use. The only rational interpretation of that is that you were deliberately trying to injure me.
You're free to interpret it however you like. It makes no difference to me. It's my ladder, isn't it? I'm free to do what I please with my own possessions. If you weren't so uncoordinated, then you might not have fallen. And if my saint of a son hadn't needed to save you from your own klutziness, he wouldn't be in the hospital right now.
Me slipping off the top of that ladder had nothing to do with my coordination. Even a world-class ballerina would have slipped off that ladder. This is your fault, and I'm not going to let you dodge responsibility for this.
Unbelievable. You actually think I'm to blame here?
Oh yeah, of course I do. No logical person would blame anyone but you. It's not like this is the first time I've been at the receiving end of your maliciousness. You've used me and abused me every single step of the way. I've put up with it until now because I was holding out hope for a normal relationship with you. But you have officially gone too far. You knew I was pregnant when you came up with this sinister plot, so I wasn't the only one in danger. What were you planning on doing if something happened to my baby after I fell? Did you think that far? You're lucky that the only injury was Marcus fracturing his wrist.
Oh, would you just shut up already? God, why couldn't you have just fallen all by yourself? I was so looking forward to seeing you writhing in pain on the floor when I returned. And as for that thing inside of you, well, it's none of my concern what happens to it. Anything that carries your DNA is nothing but an aberration, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even consider it human.
Wow. Congratulations, Mom. You just achieved a level of scumbaggery that I never thought possible.
I've heard more than enough out of you. Looks like I'll have to teach you a lesson myself. I'll show you what happens to rambunctious little upstarts who disobey me. You will regret this, Melody, mark my words. Well, Melody, if I made myself clear? If you don't want another lesson like I gave you last night, then you know what you need to do. Divorce my son and remove yourself from his life immediately. I have no use for an insubordinate daughter-in-law who refuses to do what I say.
Oh, most certainly, Mom. You've made yourself very clear. It's clear to me now that you still have absolutely no idea how much trouble you're in.
Trouble? Trouble for what? All I did was show you your place. There's nothing wrong with that.
Are you at home right now?
Yes, and what of it? Don't tell me, are you going to come and try to get some payback? It will end precisely the same way yesterday ended for you, so save yourself the trouble and stay away.
Oh, I'm not the one who's going to be visiting you today. The police will be, though. Oh, If you're so sure of your innocence, you could always just head over to the police station and turn yourself in.
Excuse me? The police have nothing to do with this. This is a family matter. You can't honestly think the police are going to get involved with a minor family scuffle, can you?
That wasn't a minor little scuffle, Mom. You walked into the hospital room and started punching me in the face. Thanks to you, I've got a bruise on my chin that's probably not going to heal for a week. I've already filed a police report, and as soon as Marcus is released from the hospital, we're going to be discussing our legal options with a lawyer. But for the meantime, know that we will at the very least be pressing charges against you for assault.
Police report? Pressing charges? What is the meaning of this?
If you don't know what police reports are or what pressing charges mean, look them up on the internet or something.
That's not what I meant. I am asking you where you get off treating me like I'm some sort of common criminal.
That would be because you are a common criminal. You intentionally greased that ladder with the intent to make me fall and injure myself. Then, when that didn't do the trick, you took matters into your own hands. You might have gotten away with the ladder thing if it weren't for that. You assaulted me in the middle of a hospital, Mom. We have dozens of witnesses, not to mention the security camera footage. There's no way out of this for you.
You're being ridiculous. That wasn't assault. I was disciplining you for your horrendous behavior.
Are you under the impression that you can get away with assault by calling it discipline? This isn't the 1960s anymore, Mom. I think you should get with the times.
I wouldn't have had to resort to such drastic measures if you weren't being such an impudent little brat to me. I'm not the only one who's at fault here.
Go ahead and tell that to the police then.
I'm not going to the police under any circumstances.
You've got two choices, Mom. Either you go to them, or they'll be coming to you before too much longer.
Have you forgotten something, Melody? I am your husband's mother, your mother-in-law. How do you think Marcus would feel about his dear mother getting arrested because of you?
Marcus was the one who told me to go to the police in the first place.
What?
Marcus has been telling you for quite some time now that you need to change the way you treat me. And to be fair, you most certainly did change, but not in a good way. You went from bad to worse.
I only did what was necessary. It's my responsibility as Marcus's mother to ensure that you're a proper wife for him. When my encouragement didn't work, you left me no choice but to become stricter on you.
Encouragement? You've been insulting my appearance and personality since before Marcus and I were married. Not to mention, constantly forcing all your housework onto me. How is that encouragement? That's nothing but verbal and emotional abuse.
You only say that because you have a weak constitution.
You can think that of me if you'd like, but the fact is that I've been putting up with you for long enough, and I'm not going to do it anymore. You're finally going to be held responsible for your actions.
But we're family, aren't we? Are you really going to do this to your own family member?
When have you ever treated me like family? I can't remember a single time.
All right, Melody, fine. You win. I surrender. You have me dead to rights. I'm sorry. There, that should settle things between us. Now that I've apologized, call up the police and tell them you're dropping the charges.
You're joking, right? You're not going to get away with this easily. This isn't something you can fix with an apology.
You need to calm down, Melody. Sit down for a moment and think about what you're doing. Getting angry isn't going to accomplish anything. Think of the impact all the stress you're causing yourself will have on your child.
You try to make me fall off of a stepladder. I think that had more potential to harm my child than me getting angry at you over it.
Look, I suppose I may have gone a little bit overboard with you. It's just that you were always so quick to do whatever I told you to.
I told you, I was hoping beyond hope that someday we might have a decent relationship. But boy, was I an idiot for that.
I'm so sorry, Melody.
I told you, apologizing isn't going to get me to drop the charges.
I'll never ask you to do a single thing for me again. In fact, I'll do whatever you ask me to do. Wouldn't you like some help around the house now that you're pregnant? Oh, please, I'm begging you. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive a foolish old woman like me? I promise you that I'll be a much better mother-in-law to you from now on.
I'll pass. I'd rather have a venomous snake for a mother-in-law than you. I never want to speak to you again.
Don't talk like that. You're such a sweet, kind-hearted girl, Melody. I'm sure that's what Marcus saw in you when he married you. I was simply too stubborn and hard-headed to realize that, and I apologize. So please, can't we come to some sort of an understanding?
I already understand you perfectly well. You're a cold, heartless, uncaring, bitter, cruel old woman. I can't wait to see you in handcuffs. Like I promised, right after Marcus was discharged from the hospital, we started talking with a lawyer about what to do about my mother-in-law. We soon came to realize that actually following through with the case until trial would be more of a headache than it would be worth. So we made a deal with her. She agreed to never contact either of us again and paid us a nominal amount of damages. And in exchange, we agreed not to press charges. I'm sure many people out there would tell me that I let her off too easily and that I should have made sure she served actual jail time for what she did to me. But as much as I would love for that to happen, I can't just be thinking about myself. My baby's going to be born soon, and I can't be tied up in court hearings and whatnot up until the birth. She would only serve a minor sentence anyway, and I'd be worried about her trying to get revenge on me after she got out. But while she didn't end up getting arrested, all of her relatives and friends found out about what she did. So I'm sure that she's getting more than enough social consequences as it is. Not to mention her husband won't even look her in the eye anymore. She's become completely isolated from everyone who once meant something to her, and she is not taking it well. From what I understand, she barely even leaves the house anymore. We walked by their house the other day, and the garden that she once took pride in was completely overgrown with weeds. As for me, with my mother-in-law out of the picture, I was able to finish the rest of my pregnancy in peace and quiet. Then, just the other day, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. I'm gonna do my best to raise him to be a strong, upstanding man, just like his father. One day, I know he'll bring a lovely lady to the house to introduce to us. And when he does, I'll be sure to give her all the respect that my mother-in-law should have given me.